A little about me. I was raised in a mastermind environment at an early age. I was taught to shout, "My PMA is terrific. My positive mental attitude is terrific." If you've known me for long, you know that if you ask me how I am, no matter how I am, I answer, "I'm terrific. I'm fantastic. I'm on top. I'm way ahead." The positive was a part of my life, but as is the truth, there is no one-sided nothing in nature. There's no one-sided leaf. There's no one-sided lake. And for about 10 years of my life, I embraced the negative attitude. And I chose the latter. Post-73, 1973, post-Vietnam, I was totally disabled, addicted to drugs and alcohol. But somehow, the spark of positivity prevailed, and I was able to take my last drink and to begin this journey to a positive, productive, and affluent life. My PMA is terrific. If you're here at this slide, you're probably here because your life looks more like this than what you'd like it to look like. You're not content with where you are and you'd like to have a better life. Well, that's happened to me. If you're here at this slide, the life that you have is more like this than this. And what we're going to do today is attempt to change that for you. So let's go forward. I've got some basic beliefs that I'll share with you. And let me state right now that everything I say is my own opinion based upon what has proven to be true in my life. We're going to talk about 12 creeds that I wrote in 1997 to help me keep on course, and then we'll go into the 21-day discipline, the Dreamquest. You ready? Let's go. I believe that there's 5 areas of life that every man, woman, child has to which they may endeavor, they may change, they may make opinions about. There's a spiritual entity, an emotional being. We all have mental facilities, physical abilities, and there's a material or a fiscal life as well. Money and stuff. Motivation has taught us that in order to get the material stuff, all we need to do is get a good education, mental, lose a lot of weight, physical, work real hard, get motivated, be driven to be motivated to achieve goals, and we'll be happy people. Not true. Goals are set by motivation. Motivation is developed by fear, is fueled by fear. And when fear-driven people achieve their goals, they're still filled with fear. They're not happy. That was true of me. So I changed the world. I turned it up on its head. And I started to focus on the spiritual. When I focus on the spiritual, I become balanced emotionally. When I become balanced emotionally, I tend to be more attractive. I attract things to me. And my mental acumen becomes more inspirational than it does mental. I'm able to take care of myself, my health. And you know what? The material life has been attracted to me. When I'm setting intentions by dreaming, I tend to attract rather than achieve. Attract rather than achieve. Receive rather than achieve. I believe it's true that goals are set to be achieved by motivation and are driven by fear. I believe it's true that intentions are created by dreaming and can be attracted, not achieved. May be received, not achieved. They may come to us AIBM, as if by magic. I'm a musician. And for me, there's kind of 2 tempos in this life that I live. There's a God's own time, and there's a grabbing everything. When I'm in God's own time, it's kind of like a waltz. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. Waltz across Texas with you in my arms. It's easy. But when I'm motivated and I'm grabbing everything, I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm working hard. I would rather waltz than sprint. I believe it's true that as the inside heals, the outside changes. The world is filled with good rabbis and good priests and good psychologists and good psychiatrists and mentors. People that can help us heal our insides, look at where we have fear and why we're driven so hard. And as the inside begins to heal, as we become more comfortable people, as we become more spiritually aware, we become more emotionally balanced. And as we become more emotionally balanced, we become more attractive as people. And the outside begins to change. We attract a better result. In the 21-day Dreamquest, we're going to exercise our dream muscles. There's no capricious nothing in nature. Nothing is given to us by accident. It's got a reason for being there. I can close my eyes and I can imagine a picture of a snowy outside and a warm and toasty inside by sitting by the fire with my mate. Or I can imagine a snowy, wet outside where I'm lost. The choice is mine. But it takes exercise. We have to exercise these dream muscles of positivity in order to achieve this result over time. I believe it's true that I control my mind. I have the choice for the warm, toasty fire or the cold and freezing night. My mind does not control me. My mind does not control me. And when I drift into the negative, when I recognize that I'm in negative thinking, I stop it by saying a word, stop. No, I will not. I will not. My first mentor, a guy named Vic Thompson, told me, if I've worked to turn my life over to a higher power, to some power of the universe, or to God, or to Adonai, or to Allah, or to Jesus, then I'm not allowed to worry. I asked him, I said, well, how do you not worry? He said, does a worrisome thought have a beginning, John Henry? And I said, yeah, sure it has a beginning. When I wake up, I begin to worry. He said, well, when you begin to worry, when you find that you're worrying, stop it by saying this word, no. But what's going to happen to it? No. But what's going to happen to it? No. 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 My mind does not control me. Or as my wife said, hell, it's all in your head. I believe it was Jack Allen. He wrote, As a Man Thinketh. And he supposed that we may become our dominant thoughts. I believe it's true that we become our dominant thoughts. So if I'm thinking positive, terrific, fantastic, positive, terrific, fantastic, how's your day? It's terrific. I will tend to attract those things that I dominate my thoughts with. That's why I in the 21-day Dreamquest, we'll cut and paste pictures of a tomorrow we tend to prefer. Cut pictures that become dominant thoughts. Baal Shem Tov was the founder of the Hasidic movement. And a rabbi named Byron Sherwin told me, he said, he was the one who made commentary about the Parsha, the portion in the Torah that said, man was made in God's image. What do you suppose that might mean? And he said, it means this. As God achieved the world, as God made the world with a thought, made the universe with a thought, so too can man make his own world with a thought. We're made in God's image. And he went on to say, but God loved man so much, he gave man a power that even he doesn't have. That is, the power to choose the negative. It's all in your mind. After all, it's all in your mind. In 1997, I sat down for about a half hour when this firm that I had imagined began to grow. And I decided I would write a 12-point creed to help me stay on course and share with others. Let's go. I believe it's true that money isn't everything, but it is one thing. We may as well excel. What is excellence in money? Well, that's a good question and one we should delve into. I don't believe that money brings you happiness, but I do believe that happiness may attract money. In those 5 areas of endeavor, spiritual, emotional, mental, physical, and fiscal or material, I've never had all of them be equally important in any one given year. There have been years when the spiritual was very important to me when I was studying Judaism and converting to Judaism back in the 90s. It was a spiritual time of my life. There have been times when the emotional was the most important. I had to learn about getting along with other people. I had to learn about being married. I had to learn about being Louise Epstein's husband, for goodness sakes. And I had to learn that if I was spending more than 60 hours a week in the office, my life was not in balance. But occasionally there would be imbalance in my life. There would be times when I would have to work hard in order to achieve my goals. But when I find myself spending more time in the office than I'm spending at home, I need to take some time off with my wife and my kids. Make mistakes, you'll learn. A man named Vic Thompson told me, he said, John Henry, go make a mistake, get it out of the way. Persist, you'll win. I've been doing this 21-day Dreamquest now for 35 years. If you persist, you will attract those things to you over time, as I have, I'm sure. Only the truth will do, really. I've come to believe there are 3 levels of truth. A truth that is person to person or man to man. A truth that is man to self or person to self. And a truth that is person to God. When I'm concerning myself with the truth, person to person, I can use hyperbole. I can use storytelling. It isn't always. Sometimes my truth is shaded. But when I look at that truth person to person, person to self, When I look at that truth person to self, I have to draw a line between truth that is therapeutic or helpful and truth that is harmful. And there's a truth that says it's between me and God. And that's the truth that says, man, I'm scared. I need help. What do I do? As the inside heals, the outside changes. We talked about that. Study your subject. Each year I set as an intention to study something. This year it's been Spanish. Hola. And music. I write songs and I do a lot of things in that realm. Don't take yourself too seriously. This has to be a life of joy or you're not going to attract things to you. Take others seriously enough, just enough. Attire displays respect. I wear a bow tie to walk my dogs. You can't outgive a giver, but you can never give a taker quite enough. I believe we have to be concerned with people that are taking from us, and we have to find people that will give to us equally. When I find somebody that harms me, I don't get upset. I just put a 1 by their name. I'm a 3-count man. And if they upset me again or they do bad to me again, I'll write another number by their name and set them down and talk about the 3-count rule. I don't want to be a fool. I want to be surrounded by givers, not takers. If you can dream it, you can see it. If you can see it, you may receive it over a time of a life well spent. Each Thanksgiving Day since 1984, I've spent 21 consecutive days dreaming about the possibilities, not the probabilities. It's not probable that I would do any of this, but it is possible that all of this that I imagine could be done. First time I endeavored in the 21-day Dreamquest was a course that was sold to me by a guy named Joe Muselli. I believe he's in the audience somewhere today. And I took that course so seriously that after about 9 weeks of listening to a tape every morning, listening to a tape every evening, writing and pasting and cutting and visualizing, I had a DCA, a definite chief aim, that went like this: build the premier financial planning firm in Austin, Texas. And I endeavored to do that over the next 28 years. In order to do something, we have to prepare for it. You can go to Mastermind Journal, renaissanceunity.org, and buy a Mastermind Journal, or else you can put your card in a hat when the hat gets passed, and we're going to give money to the 24-hour club and raffle a ticket out so you can have a Mastermind Journal of your own. Or you can do like I do. I have two 3-ring notebooks, one that is filled with lined paper that I write in, that I draw in, that I cut in, and another that is the Mastermind book that I prepare, that has storyboards that I cut and paste on, that I can visualize, that has a calendar in it where I can go to the appointments that I have in my life and visualize good things happening. And I think it's important to get a box that you can put pictures in. It's not important that we design pictures that work. It's important that we design pictures that pop. They just seem to be attractive, and I stick them in the box. Day 1 is a day of reflection. Now, I'm fortunate that I've got 35 years of masterminding, of Dreamquesting to look upon. I'm fortunate that I started with less than nothing. And I'm fortunate that I've attracted these things in my life. So I spend a day on day 1, and I write on page 1, spiritual. I write on page 2, emotional. I write on page 3, mental. I write on 4, physical. And I write on 5, fiscal, material. And I spend a moment thinking of the things that I've attracted to myself as if by magic, until I have a feeling of awe at the things that have been given to me, that I've received, a time of awe for all that I've received, not anything that I've achieved in God's own time. I receive it in GET when I'm grabbing everything. I'm out of control. A moment of reflection, a time of awe. When I have that moment of awe, wow, that's the fuel that drives humility. And humility is what drives intention. And the intentions are attracted to me. On day 2, I write a page, spiritual, emotional, mental, physical, fiscal. I pick a day 5 years, 6 years, 10 years on down the road. I pretend I'm there. And I write, Dear God, the year is, or Dear Adonai, or Dear Universe, something other than me. The year is 2020, 25, or 6, or 7, or 8. And then I go on to write what a day it is. And I make up stories. I pretend that I'm doing things spiritually. I pretend that I'm working. I'm studying with my rabbi. I pretend that I'm reading the Torah. I pretend that I'm reading the big book. I pretend that I'm working with others. I pretend that I'm helping the world. I visualize a perfect day emotionally. I pretend that I'm having conversations with my wife. I pretend that I'm having conversations with my friends. I pretend I'm having conversations with difficult people. And I pretend that I'm positive at every turn. Mentally, I pretend that I'm studying my subject. I pretend that I'm taking music lessons, and I write about these things that I'm doing in the day that I'm pretending. We're exercising dream muscles. We're pretending. We're visualizing the possible, not the probable. We're not setting goals. And then I pretend that these physical things have come to me. I pretend there's a beautiful home. I pretend there's a beautiful vacation home. I pretend there's a beautiful car. I pretend there's a beautiful... I surround myself with affluence, and I start to cut out pictures and I put them in a box. Pictures that represent each of these areas in my life. And so on and so on and so on for 21 consecutive days. Each day it's important that I touch pen to paper. I might just say, the day is terrific, I'm gone. I've got things to do, I'm busy. Day 2, I might sit down, or day 3, I might sit down and write for an hour, or maybe 2. Day 4, I might sit down and write for 20 minutes. The next day I may sit down and write, terrific, and then I'm heading out for my day. But it's important for me to touch pen to paper. For 21 consecutive days, I'm to write about all that I can imagine receiving, enjoying, creating, attracting, and sharing. That is my spiritual, emotional, mental, physical, and fiscal life. I imagine the abundance of all kinds over and over and over and over again. I cut out pictures to reinforce all that I believe, and I do this each year without fail. Persist, and you will win. At about day 12 or so, it becomes redundant. I'm imagining the same thing. It's not as thrilling as it was the first few days, but that's an important part. Don't stop. Don't stop. Because what we're doing now is boiling down these dreams into intentions, those things that we intend to receive over the next year. Embrace the Sabbath. 1. Meditate daily, I write. Honor my wife's intentions. I wrote that before she left for Arkansas. I had to follow her to another state. We're back in Texas now. Calm at all costs. Anytime I'm disturbed, the trouble is with me. Anytime I'm disturbed with anything, the trouble is with me. Intend to be calm at all costs. Can I do this? Of course I can't do this. Do I intend to do this? Yes. Has it happened over time? Yes. Find a Spanish course. Speak Spanish daily. Hola. Practice new guitar lessons 5 times each week. Do I do that? No. Do I pick up my guitar each day and play a chord? Yes, I do. PT, stretch each day. Physical therapy. When I was young, I had a personal coach. Now I'm 71 years old. I got a physical therapist. But I do stretch each day. Write competitively, remotely 3 times each week. Get on and train or make my heart beat. Book 4 performances to attract money. Over $90,000 for chosen charities. Will I do that? I don't know. But if I don't write something down, I may never do a doggone thing. So I want to visualize $90,000 for chosen charities. Getting close this year, as a matter of fact. And as I receive those things, I sit down for a moment of awe, as if by magic. My goodness, I booked another charity. My goodness, I booked another show. My goodness, we raised a lot of money for the classical guitar. My goodness, we raised a lot of money for the 24-hour club. My goodness, we raised a lot of money for the honor flight in New Mexico. I cut and paste and visualize the future I wish to attract, the person I wish to be. The pictures seem to just pop out, and I gather them with glee. Spiritual, emotional, mental, physical, material. In 1995, having gone through a terrible divorce, and I've never seen a good one, I was working with a psychologist named Mac Ruska, and we were talking about the failures I'd had emotionally with people I'd married that hadn't worked out. And it became apparent to me that what I was lacking was a peer, P-E-E-R, in my life. Not somebody that I would dominate, but rather somebody that would stand beside me. And I cut out a picture from Land's End magazine. It's on the left-hand side in 1995. That was November. February of 1996. The person on the right came into my life, and I knew her immediately. Boom. 30 days later, I had a ring on her finger and told her we were going to be married in a year if we still felt the way we feel now. It's been 22 years so far. 5 years later, on my 55th birthday, having never seen the picture on the left, she gave me the watch on the right. In 1994, a guy named Steve Canale was chosen as one of the top financial planners in the nation by Worth magazine. I knew Steve, and I said, I can do that as well. I will attract that to my life. I cut that picture out on the left and the right. I said, John Henry McDonald will be one of the top financial planners in the nation. And I was in 1997. AIBM, as if by magic. Blew the top off that company, and it really began to grow, something that attracted a great amount of security for a whole bunch of people. Can't outgive a giver. This collage said New Orleans, Santa Fe, San Diego, something on the West Coast. Time off? Yeah, time off? Yeah. We tried for 3 years to find a place in Seattle, and it didn't quite work. I'm a 3-count man. We took a vacation in Santa Fe, and 2 weeks later, We penned a contract for that place on the left that we love, that we love a lot. Another birthday, another watch. Good partner makes all the difference. I've got a website. I write a blog. The website is www.johnhenrymcdonald.com /events. You'll find out things that I'm doing, /store, and you'll find out you can go get CDs for free, absolutely free. I give them all away. I'm working on my 4th CD as we speak. And I want to thank you so very much for spending this time with me.